Your bank account is lying to you. Your relationships are lying to you. Your entire reality is lying to you, because what you're seeing right now isn't the truth. It's just the residue of who you used to be. And right now, as we enter 2025, something unprecedented is happening in the quantum field. While millions of people are setting the same old resolutions, making the same old plans, living by the same old emotions, there's a select group of individuals who are tapping into frequencies of transformation that most people can't even perceive. They're not just changing their lives, they're literally altering the fabric of reality itself. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how they're doing it. Right now, at this precise moment, 95% of humanity is missing something extraordinary. They're walking into 2025, operating from the same programs, the same emotional patterns, the same neural networks they've been running their entire lives. But you're different. You're here because something inside you knows there's more. Your brain, this credible quantum computer you carry in your skull, is literally designed for transformation. Let me share something fascinating from our latest research. When we studied people in our advanced workshops using brain mapping technology, we discovered that in just 4 days of applying these principles, their brains created new neural connections equivalent to what typically takes years of experience. Years compressed into days. This is in theory. This is measurable, demonstrable change. At the cellular level, 2025 isn't just another year. The energy, the field, the quantum possibilities available right now are unprecedented. Think about this. Every morning, most people wake up, check their phones, worry about their problems, and rehearse the same emotions of their past. They're literally programming their cells, their genes, their future to be identical to their past. But you can make a different choice right here, right now. Your brain is changing every single second. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel is restructuring your neural architecture. So most people wait for something in their outer world to change before they'll change their inner world. But that's the old model. That's living by cause and effect. The new science, the new understanding shows us we can cause and effect. We can change our inner world first, and then watch our outer world reorganize itself to match that new internal state. Are you ready to understand how to do this? Because what I'm about to share will fundamentally alter how you create your reality in 2025. Look around you. The average person is living their life on autopilot. They're running the same programs day after day, thinking the same thoughts, approximately 600 0 to 700 0 thoughts a day. And here's the kicker. Research shows that 90% of those thoughts are identical to the thoughts they had the day before. They're literally installing the same software every single day. But it gets more interesting. When you think the same thoughts, you're going to feel the same emotions. When you feel the same emotions, you're going to make the same choices. Same choices, same behaviors, same experiences, same emotions. It's a biological feedback loop. Your body can't tell the difference between the experience that's creating the emotion and the emotion that you're creating by thought alone. To your body, they're exactly the same. Let me explain what's happening in your biology. Every time you have a thought, you make a chemical. Those thoughts activate circuits in your brain, and your brain releases specific chemicals called neuropeptides. These chemicals signal genes to make proteins that create your current emotional state. So when you think anxious thoughts, when you think worried thoughts, when you think thoughts of lack or separation or competition, your body is being bathed in the same chemicals over and over. And here's where it gets crucial. Your body, this magnificent creation, starts to become addicted to those chemicals. Just like a drug addict needs their next fix, your body begins to crave those familiar emotions, even if they're emotions of stress, anxiety, or fear. This is why change is so hard for most people. They are literally fighting against their own biochemistry. But survival emotions, fear, anger, anxiety, stress, they're shutting down your frontal lobe. They're activating your emergency response systems. When you're living in survival mode, you're using up all your vital energy just trying to survive your emotions. There's no energy left for creation, for growth, for for transformation, you're too busy trying to predict every worst-case scenario to protect yourself from possible danger or pain. And this is exactly why most people stay stuck. They're waiting to feel different before they make a change. They're waiting until they have enough time, enough money, enough knowledge, enough whatever. But here's the truth. Those conditions will never come as long as you're running the same neural programs, because your brain is literally wired to create more of what you've already experienced. The quantum field responds to who you're being, not who you've been. But as long as you're being the same person, thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same emotions, making the same choices, you're signaling the quantum field to give you more of what you already have. Your external world will always be a reflection of your internal world. It has to be. That's the law of physics. That's how reality works. But here's the good news, and this is where everything starts to change. Once you understand this process, you can begin to reverse it. You can start to break free from those emotional addictions, rewire those neural patterns, and create entirely new reality. Your brain processes 400 billion bits of information every second, but you're only consciously aware of about 2,000 of those bits. Think about that. The most sophisticated supercomputer we've ever built can't match what your brain does automatically every single second of every single day. But here's what's even more fascinating. Your brain is not just processing information, it's creating your reality. And let me share some extraordinary findings from our latest research. When we studied people in coherent brain states during our advanced workshops, we found something remarkable. Their brains were literally reorganizing themselves in real time. We saw new neural networks forming within hours, not years. The old scientific model told us the brain was fixed, hardwired, unchangeable. But that model is obsolete. The truth is, your brain is constantly rewiring itself based on your thoughts, your feelings, and most importantly, your level of awareness. Every time you learn something new, you're making new synaptic connections. Every time you have a new experience, you're creating new neural networks. But here's the key, and this is where most people miss it. You don't need a physical experience to create these changes. Your brain cannot tell the difference between what's happening in your outer world and what you're vividly imagining in your inner world. When you close your eyes and mentally rehearse an experience with emotional intensity, your brain and body don't know if it's real or imagined. They respond as if it's actually happening. We've measured this. We've seen participants in our workshops create the same neural firing patterns while mentally rehearsing an experience as when they're physically doing it. Now, let's talk about the quantum field. In quantum physics, there's something called the observer effect. It means that the mere act of observing a particle changes its behavior. Your consciousness, your attention, literally affects the behavior of atoms and subatomic particles. You are not separate from the field, you are the field. Your thoughts, your emotions, your consciousness are all energy that interacts with this infinite field of possibilities. When you combine this understanding with the latest neuroscience, something extraordinary happens. We now know that your brain is transmitting and receiving information from this quantum field all the time. Those 400 billion bits of information your brain processes every second, they're not just coming from your physical senses, they're coming from the field itself. This is why two people can look at the exact same situation and see completely different things. Their brains are literally filtering reality through different neural networks, different emotional states, different levels of consciousness. Your brain is creating your reality based on what you've programmed it to look for, what you've trained it to expect. But here's where it gets really exciting. Just as your brain filters reality, it can also create reality. When you change your brain waves from beta to alpha to theta, you're literally changing your relationship with the quantum field. In beta, you're in survival mode, processing through your senses, but in alpha and theta, you're in creation mode. You're accessing information directly from the field. This is not mystical thinking. This is hardcore science. We've measured it. We've documented it. We've seen people heal themselves of chronic conditions, transform long-standing emotional patterns, and create extraordinary new possibilities in their lives by understanding and applying these principles. Your brain and body are not separate systems. They're part of an incredible quantum network that extends far beyond your physical form. When you understand this connection, when you learn to work with it consciously, you literally become supernatural. You move beyond the limitations of your personal past and plug directly into the infinite potential of the quantum field. Your personality creates your personal reality. Let me say that again because this is crucial. Your personality, your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors is literally creating your personal reality. Most people try to change their lives without changing themselves. They want different results. They keep running the same programs. That's like trying to download new software while running the old operating system. It simply won't work. And let's talk about pattern interruption. Here's what happens in your brain when you do the same things every day. You strengthen the neural networks associated with those behaviors. It's like walking the same path through a field of grass. Eventually, you create a clear trail. To change, you need to step off that familiar path. You need to become aware of your automatic programs and consciously choose different responses. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? Most people immediately check their phones, immediately plug back into their familiar reality. They're literally programming their brains to stay in the same patterns. But what if instead of reaching for your phone, you sat up and asked yourself, what is the greatest ideal of myself I can be today? That simple pattern interruption begins to create new neural networks. The biology of change is fascinating. Every time you interrupt an old pattern and choose a new response, you're not just making a mental decision, you're creating biological change. Your brain releases different neurotransmitters. Your genes express themselves differently. Your immune system functions differently. Change isn't just psychological, it's biological. We've seen this in our research. When people interrupt their old patterns and maintain new emotional states, their bodies literally begin to change at a cellular level. Their immune system gets stronger. Their heart coherence improves. Their brain waves organize into more coherent patterns. This isn't theory. This is measurable biological transformation. Let's talk about rewiring neural pathways. Your brain has a feature called neuroplasticity. It can form new neural connections at any age, but here's the key. You have to give it the right conditions. You can't create new neural pathways while running your old emotional programs. You need to create a new emotional state and sustain it. This is why meditation is so powerful. When you sit still and become aware of your automatic thoughts and feelings, you're no longer being controlled by them. You're stepping out of the program. You're creating space for new neural networks to form. And this is crucial. You can't just sit there and try to not think about your problems. You have to replace those old thoughts with new ones. Think about this. Every time you have a thought, you're either reinforcing an existing neural pathway or creating a new one. Every time you feel an emotion, you're either strengthening an old pattern or establishing a new one. You're always rewiring your brain. The question is, are you doing it consciously or unconsciously? Most people try to create change through willpower. But willpower is a conscious function of your brain, and it gets tired. Real change happens when you create new, unconscious programs, when you rewire your brain at such a fundamental level that the new patterns become automatic. This is why we combine knowledge with experience in our work. Knowledge without experience is philosophy. Experience without knowledge is ignorance. But when you combine the two, when you understand the science and apply it practically in your life, that's when true transformation occurs. That's when you literally break the habit of being yourself and step into a new possibility of being. The moment you open your eyes each morning is your first opportunity to create change. Instead of jumping into your routine, take 45 minutes to install new neurological hardware. This is when your brain waves are naturally shifting from theta to alpha to beta. It's the perfect time to program new patterns. Start by sitting up straight with your eyes closed. Focus your attention on your energy centers, beginning at the base of your spine. This first center is about survival, about security. As you place your attention there, feel it activate, feel the energy begin to move. Now steadily move your attention up to your second center, just below your navel. This is your creative center, your emotional center. Feel it awakening. Move to your third center at your solar plexus. This is your power center. As you focus here, begin to generate the emotion of courage, of unlimited possibility. Let the energy expand. Fourth center, your heart. This is crucial. Your heart produces an electromagnetic field 5,000 times stronger than your brain. When you activate your heart center with elevated emotions, gratitude, appreciation, love, you're literally changing your energy field. Now, something magical happens when you combine this activated energy state with clear intention. You're no longer living in the past, you're creating the future. But here's the key. You can't just think about your new future. You have to feel it. Your body has to believe it's happening right now. Let me explain the science. When you generate elevated emotions, your heart goes into coherence. When your heart is coherent, your brain follows. When your brain waves change, you stop processing reality through your past memories and begin accessing the quantum field of pure potential. This is where most people miss it. They try to create their future from their past. They try to think positively while feeling the same old emotions. But your thoughts are the electrical charge and your feelings are the magnetic charge. Together, they create an electromagnetic signature that determines what you attract into your life. In this morning practice, after you've activated your energy centers, stay in that elevated state and begin to rehearse your new future. See it clearly. Feel it completely. Let your body experience it as if it's happening right now. Your brain and body don't know the difference between an actual experience and one that's vividly imagined. The more you do this practice, the more you'll notice something extraordinary. You'll start to feel different during your day. You'll respond to challenges differently. You'll make different choices. Why? Because you're no longer the same person. You've literally changed your energy. And when you change your energy, you change your life. This morning practice isn't just meditation. It's creation. It's not about relaxing. It's about transforming. It's not about escaping your life. It's about generating the energy to create a new one. When you understand this and practice it consistently, that's when the supernatural becomes natural. The quantum field is a field of infinite possibilities, and you are a quantum being. This isn't spiritual mumbo-jumbo. This is cutting-edge science. In quantum physics, we know that everything at its most fundamental level is energy and information. Your thoughts, your emotions, your consciousness, they're all patterns of energy interacting with this field. You understand quantum principles. You understand something profound about reality. In the quantum world, particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously until they're observed. Think about what this means for your life. Every possibility you can imagine already exists in the quantum field as a potential reality. Your observation, your consciousness, your attention, that's what collapses these possibilities into actual experiences. Let me share something remarkable from our research. When people in our advanced workshops learn to maintain coherent brain states and elevated emotions, they literally begin to affect matter. We've measured changes in the electromagnetic field around them. We've documented inexplicable healings. We've seen people create synchronicities that defy statistical probability. Here's why this happens. In the quantum world, there is no time. Past, present, and future exist simultaneously in what physicists call the eternal now. When you're living by the hormones of stress, when you're caught in survival emotions, you're stuck in linear time. But when you enter coherent brain states, through this work, you step outside of linear time. You begin to access what quantum physics calls non-local consciousness. The observer effect in quantum physics shows us that consciousness affects reality at the subatomic level. Your attention, your intention, your level of coherence These aren't just mental states, they're forces that interact with the quantum field. When you maintain elevated emotions while holding clear intentions, you're literally broadcasting a new electromagnetic signature into the field. Think about this. Every potential future already exists as a quantum possibility. You're not creating something from nothing. You're selecting which possibility becomes your reality through your energy. This is why your emotional state is so crucial. Your emotions are literally your frequency, your broadcast signal to the quantum field. When you understand this science, you understand why waiting for your outer world to change before you change your inner world never works. That's living in Newtonian physics, cause and effect. But in the quantum world, you can collapse time and space, you can affect particles non-locally, you can select new possibilities not by forcing change in the physical world, but by changing your energy. This is what we mean by supernatural. When you learn to operate by quantum principles instead of Newtonian principles, you're no longer bound by the limits of space and time. You're no longer creating from the past. You're selecting from infinite future possibilities. But remember, in quantum physics, the observer affects the observed. You can't stay the same person and expect to observe a different reality. This isn't theory. We've measured it. We've documented it. We've seen people completely transform their lives when they understand and apply these principles. The science of possibility isn't about positive thinking. It's about fundamentally shifting your relationship with the reality itself. Let's get practical about this transformation process. Your environment is your biggest ally or your biggest enemy in this work. Every time you enter your meditation space, your brain should recognize it as a place of creation, not a place of survival. Set up a specific area. It doesn't need to be fancy. A chair, a meditation cushion, maybe some crystals or objects that represent your future self. First thing every morning, before checking your phone, before engaging with the world, sit in your space. Here's the sequence. Breathe into your heart, generate an elevated emotion, then hold that state. If your mind wanders, and it will, just bring it back to your heart. No judgment, no frustration. This isn't about doing it perfectly. It's about doing it consistently. Throughout your days, set up pattern interruptions. Every hour, take 60 seconds to check your energy state. Are you creating from possibility or reacting from memory? Simple question, profound impact. Put reminders on your phone if you need to. When you catch yourself in old patterns, stop, breathe, return to your heart. Energy management is crucial. Most people waste their energy on three things: reliving the past, reacting to the present, or worrying about the future. Instead, use your energy to maintain coherent states. When you feel tired, don't reach for coffee. Take 3 minutes to breathe into your heart and generate gratitude. When you feel stressed, don't push through. Pause and reset your energy. Create what I call state primers throughout your environment. Put up pictures that represent your future self. Write down quotes that inspire elevated emotions. Change your phone background to an image that triggers coherent states. Your environment should constantly remind you of who you're becoming, not who you've been. And the key to this is what I call interruption prevention. Here's a powerful strategy. Before any significant interaction or decision, take 30 seconds to set your energy. Don't walk into meetings, conversations, or challenges carrying the energy of your past. Reset first. Create the energy of your future self first. Then engage. Remember, consistency trumps intensity. It's better to maintain slightly elevated states throughout your day than to hit peak states occasionally. Your new life will emerge from the accumulation of small choices, not from occasional big efforts. Make every moment a choice point. Make every breath an opportunity to broadcast a new signal to the field. This isn't about perfection, it's about direction. Are you moving toward coherence or chaos? Toward possibility or limitation? Toward your future or your past? Simple choices, moment by moment, create supernatural change. In our advanced workshops, we've documented transformations that traditional science can't explain. Take Maria, who arrived in a wheelchair with multiple sclerosis. After 4 days of applying these principles, maintaining coherent states and connecting to the field, she walked out of that workshop on her own 2 feet. Her doctors couldn't explain it, but our brain scans showed exactly what happened. Her neural patterns completely reorganized. Our research team has collected thousands of brain scans, heart rate variability measurements, and energy field readings. We've seen people heal stage 4 cancers, reverse chronic conditions, and transform their lives in ways that defy conventional medical understanding. But here's what's fascinating. When we study these people, they all show the same patterns of coherence in their brain and heart measurements. Let me share some numbers that will blow your mind. In our recent study, participants who maintained coherent states for just 1 hour a day for 6 weeks showed a 43% increase in their immune system function. Their stress hormones dropped by an average of 37%. Their heart coherence measurements matched those of advanced meditation masters. One participant, a business owner, applied these principles to his company. Within 8 months, his revenue tripled. But here's what's remarkable. Our measurement showed that his employees' stress levels dropped by 48% during this same period. When you change your energy, you affect not just your reality, but the reality of those around you. We've seen depression lift, anxiety dissolve, and chronic pain disappear. But what's most exciting is that we can measure these changes. We can see them in brain scans, blood tests, and energy field measurements. This isn't placebo effect. This is systematic transformation at the cellular level. When you apply these principles consistently, your biology literally reorganizes itself to match your new level of consciousness. 2025 represents a unique convergence of energy and opportunity that we've never seen before. Our measurements across global consciousness fields show unprecedented patterns of coherence emerging. This isn't random, it's systematic change happening at a quantum level. The field is more responsive, more accessible than ever before. Right now we're seeing what I call a consciousness acceleration. In our workshops, people are achieving in days what used to take months or years of practice. The energy available for transformation is literally stronger than at any point in recorded history. Our instruments are picking up new frequencies, new patterns of possibility in the quantum field. Think about this. While most people are focused on external changes, technology, economics, global events, there's something far more significant happening. The very fabric of consciousness is becoming more malleable, more responsive to intentional change. The barriers between thought and manifestation are getting thinner. This isn't just spiritual talk, we're measuring it. The coherence patterns we're recording in our participants are 300% stronger than what we measured just 5 years ago. The field is more responsive, more available for conscious creation than ever before. But here's the key. You have to be tuned to these frequencies to access them. This is why your personal timing is so crucial right now. While others are waiting for external circumstances to change, you can tap into these emerging frequencies of transformation. You can ride this wave of accelerated evolution. But remember, this opportunity isn't automatic. You have to choose it. You have to prepare your brain and body to operate at these new frequencies. 2025 isn't just another year. It's a gateway, a convergence point where personal transformation and global consciousness shift are perfectly aligned. The question isn't whether this energy is available, it's whether you're ready to receive it. The moment has arrived. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect. Right now, your future self is reaching back through time and space, through the quantum field, inviting you to step into a new possibility, but you have to make a choice. You have to decide, will you keep living as the same person, creating the same reality, or will you step into the unknown and become supernatural? Here's what I want you to do right now. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the energy in your body. Notice where you're holding tension, where you're holding old emotions, where you're holding yourself back. Now, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what thoughts have I been thinking? What emotions have I been feeling? What choices have I been making that keep creating the same reality? Your first step is simple but profound. Commit to your morning practice. Not when it's convenient, not when you feel like it. Every single morning. 45 minutes minimum. This isn't negotiable. This is the foundation of your transformation. Set your alarm 45 minutes earlier. Put your meditation cushion out the night before. Remove every possible obstacle between you and your practice. Second step, start keeping track of your energy. Get a small notebook. Every hour, rate your emotional state from 1 to 10. Are you creating from possibility or reacting from memory? Simple awareness begins to break old patterns. When you catch yourself in low energy states, use the heart coherence technique. We practiced. 3 minutes is all it takes to reset your energy. Third step, pick one area of your life where you want to see supernatural change. Be specific. Write it down. Now, here's the crucial part. You have to feel the emotion of that future reality every single day. Not just think about it, feel it. Your body has to believe it's already happened. This is how you build the neurological hardware for your new life. Fourth step, find your evidence. Every night before bed, write down 3 pieces of evidence that show you're becoming your future self. They might be small things, a new thought, a different reaction, an unexpected opportunity. But you have to train your brain to look for evidence of change instead of evidence of sameness. Final step, make a bold move. Do something your old self would never do. Apply for that position, start that project, have that conversation. When you take action from an elevated state, you're literally calling your future to you through the quantum field. Remember this, transformation isn't a future event, it's a present activity. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every choice you make is either moving you toward your future self or keeping you chained to your past self. There is no neutral ground. You're either evolving or repeating. The energy is available. The science is proven. The opportunity is here, but you have to choose it. You have to become it. You have to live it. Not tomorrow. Not when everything's perfect. Right now, your future self is waiting. The question is, are you ready to become supernatural?